this might get quite interesting, but it almost looks as though she's watching Craig and I. It's really strange. Now, we can sit here for a little bit. We're going to try and see what happens. And so while we sit and kind of see what happens, we're going to just prep ourselves for a little broadcast that's going to go live on on various platforms, actually. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a beautiful afternoon here in South Africa. We are coming to you live with one of the most amazing sights that you could possibly have. The elusive, the shy, the most difficult of the big cats to find, a beautiful leopard female who seems to be interested in something, and we just can't work out what it is at the moment. She's kind of stalking and looking, and it's almost as though she's seen something behind where we're sitting. Every now and then she lets out a bit of a growl, and so we're not sure if maybe there might be another leopard in this area. Now, I was saying that it is a live interactive safari, which means that you can ask questions, and you can do that by just posting in the comment sections below, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. Now, also, I've forgotten to introduce myself. My name is Tristan, and on camera I've got Craig, and this leopard is still very, very interested in something. And like I was saying, leopards generally, if they're hunting and stalking, they don't make noise, whereas this leopard is pretty much growling every now and then, and that's normally indicative of an animal that's spotted maybe another leopard close by. And so we think there could potentially be another leopard close by, and that's why she's kind of looking and bobbing her head and weaving. It's an interesting situation to see. I've never seen a leopard kind of do this with a vehicle or with a person, so it's not that. She's a fairly relaxed cat, and we see her quite often, and so it's interesting. Right, now unfortunately our technical glitch has happened, and so we're not on our action broadcast anymore, and we're still with Xidulu, but she's watching us. Now apparently we are on it, so I do apologize about that. But anyway, we're still with our leopard, and she's still watching us more than anything else and kind of sniffing towards us. So I have no idea what she's actually doing, but it's very, very interesting. I've never seen a leopard take this much interest in us, and it might be because the wind is blowing towards us. I thought for a second there was another leopard behind us, but it also could be that she's seeing her reflection in the screen or in the camera's lens, and that's maybe why she's having a little look. That's almost what it appears like, because I keep looking over my shoulder and I can't see a single thing anywhere near us, and she keeps kind of looking towards where we are. You see, she's kind of coming a little bit closer and just checking us out. Now, when I say she's a little bit closer, she's no more than about 3 meters from where she is, so she's right next to us, and she's just kind of watching us and checking what we're doing. Now, Kathleen, you asking if she would recognize her own scent. I think that's what you said, and so probably yes. I mean, she's a cat that is a territorial individual, and so she marks territory regularly in order to try and keep her territory and keep other females out, and so she'll know areas that she's marked and where she's kind of been before, and she'll know her own scent versus another leopard's scent. So it's not that she's smelling herself, she's just curious as to what we are, which is maybe because this cat hasn't spent as much time around cameras or a vehicle with a camera on it as she has normal game viewers with guests on it, and so that's maybe why she's a bit curious as to what this whole thing is and why we're kind of having it. But it's definitely that she's looking at us and not at another leopard, which is pretty interesting. I thought at first she was spotted another cat and she was bobbing and weaving, or maybe a prey animal, but it's more that she's actually kind of watching herself in the lens of the camera, which is pretty strange. Now, Colleen, this is a female that we call Xidulu female. She's a newish female to our area. She's been spending most of her time to the west of where we are, and she's just come in recently due to the fact that a older female by the name of Shadow has been pushed further away by a new male that this female is already mated with, and that's maybe why she's here. She's followed that new male in, and she's now just working out this area and scent marking and sort of starting to establish herself as a dominant female in this western sector of Djuma. So it's a very, very interesting kind of story that's going on at the moment. Now, Dory, you say, what an exquisite animal. Well, they're my absolute favorite, Dory, and so they are seriously beautiful individuals. The spotted coat that they've got, those rosettes, the beautiful eyes, and in particular this female has got these kind of whitish bluish tinged eyes. She is absolutely exquisite, and you can see she's got very few scratches, and that's because this is a much younger female. She's about 4 years old now, as opposed to some of the other females that we see that can sometimes be well over 12 years old. And so she's still just watching us. I don't know what the story is at the moment, but anyway, she's interested in what we're doing, and so we're going to stay with her for a little bit longer. It's been an absolute pleasure having all of you with us. Hopefully you'll carry on following us, and you can do that on Safari Live. You can just Google Safari Live and catch up with us on the various platforms. But from myself and Craig, like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll leave you with one last look of the beautiful Xidulu. Right, so I don't know what Xidulu is up to at the moment, but she has taken a serious interest in Craig by the looks of things, or an interest just in the camera and her reflection in the lens. But she is seriously staring us down at the moment, and I can tell you, a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling when a leopard looks at you like she's interested in you and wants to kind of find out exactly what you're made of, and she's kind of just staring us down at the moment. Craig, are you okay there? Yeah, Craig's okay. So he's, I think, thoroughly enjoying the fact that he's got a leopard that's kind of locking sort of eyes with him. And she's actually watching flies that are buzzing around our car, and she's really curious as to what's going on. It's an incredible situation, and it's very seldom that you see that. Now, Penny, if she comes closer and she gets right towards the car, or she makes any sort of tail swish or a hiss, then we'll start the car and move off and try and just put some distance between us and her. She's not an aggressive female, and you can see there's no aggression in what she's doing. She's not tail flicking, her ears are not flat, she's not growling. She's just curious. She's watching us, and there's insects that are buzzing around the car at the moment, and it almost seems as though she's more interested in the insects buzzing around than she is actually us at this stage. And so I wonder if she's just kind of wondering what's going on. We've also got a new fan that we've installed in Jigger, because Jigger was overheating a little bit, and the fan makes quite a bit of noise, and I wonder if that's maybe why she's so intrigued. Anyway, we're going to try and stay out of her way, and we'll just probably back off a little bit now, and while we do that, let's send you back across to Brent, who's got some very intrigued animals of his own.
Now, this really strange behavior is continuing. So it almost looks like these young bulls are now trying to display dominance over the carcass. So they're climbing on it, they're pushing it around a bit, and in some cases their penises are coming out. So it looks like they're almost trying to play the dominance game with the dead Ellie. So very, very unusual behavior. And whether they knew this elephant or not, it's near impossible to tell. But it is incredibly interesting, nonetheless, and not something you see every day. And they are keeping the vultures at bay. You can see he's actually pushing quite hard with his tusks now into the back of that Ellie. As I said, they've been clambering all over the carcass. It's just amazing. they seem to be getting more and more boisterous with the carcass the longer they remain, and becoming more and more rough. They were very, very gentle in the beginning. You can see how when he look how he's putting that tusk in. He's putting that tusk in, or was putting that tusk in, quite hard. And then also having sort of little play wrestles with each other's from time to time. This is incredibly interesting behavior. There we go. Back there, pushing the tusks in, climbing on. Well, just a quick update from the Game Drive radio. The evokers are back, not too far from the northern boundary, hunting buffalo. So probably about 2 or 3 kilometers from Sydney's dam. Not even that, maybe 1.5 kilometers from Sydney's dam. They're chasing buffalo. So just a quick update there, and let's get back to the ellies. Oh, sniffing. There we go, climbing up again. Right onto the carcass. Isn't this amazing? Now, when the one does, the other one has been coming and then pushing it off or climbing on itself. Oof. Tanya, one of those impossible questions. I think these ellies have seen another dead elephant before? It's impossible to know, Tanya. I think, what are they? 16, 17 years old, so probably. And see, they're being more playful than anything else at the moment. As they went off, started feeding, and all of a sudden, sort of like interest was perked again. Now, those evoker males are a long way away from here, so they probably won't smell this carcass. What they might see is vultures dropping tomorrow, depending on where they end their buffalo hunt. And of course, if they catch the buffalo, however, then they'll probably not be too fussed with the vultures dropping down here. And the fact that this is where the Birminghams walked through yesterday and this morning means that it's unlikely that they will come dashing down here too quickly. See, there we go. Now they're sort of play wrestling a bit. Oh, that's interesting. And he has some go-away bird alarming down towards Twin Dams. We're going to just continue to sit here and see how this plays out. In the meantime, let's hope Xidulu has lost her evil eye for the Batman.
No, not yet. She's still watching both Batman and I at this stage, and she's better. She's at least laid down now and not kind of looking so intently, but she's still watching us, and it's still pretty kind of creepy when she kind of looks at you a little bit and just stares deep at you. But seems to be fairly relaxed now. She's kind of sat down at least, which is good news, and she's not growling anymore. But honestly, you have no idea. Craig and I were discussing it. At times it looks like she was looking at us, and at other times it looks as though she was looking completely past us towards something else. You see, every now and then she kind of twitches and looks a little bit further afield. I don't know if maybe she smelt something or what the situation was, but she kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just that when she's live she does this, because now she's looking at us again, and she wasn't just now. She was lying down completely relaxed, and it almost seems as though whenever the camera's pointed directly at her, she kind of sees her reflection by the looks of things, and then she gets interested in what's going on. Or it's because the noise of the fan is for some reason checking out. But the other thing is, you can't get a better visual of a leopard. Look at how beautiful those eyes are and how beautiful her face is. She's an exquisite animal, and while it, like I say, can be a bit nervy when she kind of stares at you, it's still a kind of humbling experience being this close to a leopard. Now, what are you watching, girl? It's almost like she's looking through us, but you can't get a better view of a leopard's eyes than that. Look at that. Now you see how she's laid down in the grass? What are you doing, girl? Now, what I might just do is I might just kind of back off. No, she's looking past us, I'm sure of it. Craig, what do you think? Is she looking at you or looking past us? I don't know. I'm very confused by her behavior. It's the first time I've ever seen a leopard do this, and I don't know if it's looking at Craig or if it's looking at us. And like I say, normally if a leopard is very interested in you, they'll just kind of bow their head, and if she's upset, she'll have a situation where her tail would flick, her ears would go back, she would hiss at us, show her teeth if she was angry. It's more curiosity. Now, Monique, tone of my voice, maybe, I don't know. It's every time I talk, she kind of stands up and does this. So I'm not sure what it is at the moment, but she's now just watching Craig and again kind of having a little look at what's going on. So it's really intriguing behavior, and something that I certainly have never seen from a leopard before. It is amazing to kind of watch what she's up to, and it's almost like every time she sees the camera move in any way, she kind of stands to attention again. So it's very, very interesting behavior, and one that I'm not 100% sure why she's doing it. It seems strange. I'm just trying to look behind Craig if I can see anything, but I don't see anything. We're kind of on the edge of a slope here, so it slopes down towards a drainage line, so we should be able to spot anything quite easily. If it was near where she's kind of looking and the way that she's looking, it would be a situation where you would think that we would be able to spot whatever she's looking at. But now she kind of it looks as though she's looking well past Craig again, and now down into the grass. So let's see what she gets up to. Interesting behavior, that's for sure. See, now she looks as though she's looking past the back of the car. And I'm just trying to listen to hear if there's any growling. There's no more salivating. I don't know. It's very, very interesting behavior. Xidulu, what is the story, girl? There was a bird that just flew that caught her attention. I don't know, like I say, why she would be staring at us so much. There's not like there's anything on the car or anything different. We're not wearing any bright colors, either of us. There's nothing different to how we normally are. That's why I'm intrigued that she's kind of staring at us so much. And all I can think of is that it's the fan from Jigger. That's the only thing that is different on this car, is that there's a new fan that's been installed and it's quite noisy. And so that's the only kind of... So, Ariel, you were asking if I perhaps have a snake under the car. So, no, well, I don't think so, Ariel. Not that I saw. And if it was under the car, she would be looking under the car. She's literally looking directly at the camera and at Craig's legs every now and then, and maybe at me when I'm sitting and I talk. Sometimes she just kind of locks eyes with me where I'm sitting. And then every now and then she lifts her head, and it's almost like she's trying to look over the top of us. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse back for her and let her just kind of have a bit more sort of field of view. And if she keeps looking at us, then we know she's got an issue with us rather than anything else. So what we're going to do is just do a little slow movement backwards. We're not going to try and kind of stress her out in any way, which you can see she's literally no more than 2-3 meters from the edge of the car and where Craig is sitting. So what I want to do is just slowly back away from her and just give a little bit of space, also so that I can look, because I'm trying to look over my shoulder the whole time, but I don't see anything. So if we stop here, let's see. She's now got a clear path. Let's go back a little further, Craig. There we go. She's now got an absolutely clear path from where we were parked. And you see, she's still watching us. So she's intrigued by us in some reason. It's not what was behind us. It's not that we're in her way. There's plenty of space to have gone either side. I don't see anything that we parked in here. I don't know. It's just that she was, for some reason, intrigued with who we are and what we are. Now, it's the first time I've ever had a leopard that intrigued that is not a cub. You get cubs that look at you like that, but it's not something you see from adults very often. But although she's now kind of more fixated again where she was watching. Bobby, you say you're halfway around the world and you're intimidated by that stare. A little intimidating, isn't it? She's got icy blue eyes sometimes, and so it's something that you've got to be aware of. And like I say, I'd rather just get Craig into a position where he's not having to stress or worry about anything and can just take it easy. But you can see she still looks at us from time to time and is kind of checking us out. So while we wonder and see what Xidulu is up to, let's go back across to Taylor, who I think has left Tingana now and is probably just bumbling around Chitwa.
We have indeed left Mr. T, as there were quite a few other vehicles that wanted to have a look at him before the sun went down, so now we're bumbling. Now we're going to see if anything will jump up in front of the car for us. Of course, we wish Tingana on his best to try and catch something this evening. So hope he does sneak on into the lodge, and I think he might be waiting for the cover of darkness. I think he's trying to have all the things on his side today, the best possible chance at taking some prey down. He could have tried a little bit earlier. My goodness, what is that? It's huge. Is a beetle or something flying around? I have no idea what it was. Maybe. Did it look like it had a horn? Could be a rhino beetle. That was massive. It was like the size of my hand, this thing with its wings open. Zzz, flying around. Oh, yes. We need to come and cut all these branches. You're fine. They're all overhanging. Everything has loved the rain that we've had over the past couple of weeks and has flourished. So I'm sadly not tall enough to use a machete standing up that high. We kind of need to come with a chainsaw and just take on some of these branches. My goodness, it seems as though all the elephants of the Sabi Sand have come down to, well, investigate around the elephant that passed away. Quite an interesting sighting. I'm a little bit envious, but I'm sure Brent is very, very happy with watching all that behavior. So let's go see what the next herd of elephants does.
Well, it's still the same eddies that have been here the whole afternoon. And there we go, you can see that they're continuing on with that dominance display, mounting the carcass and then wrestling with each other. They actually had a little bit of a tussle while one was actually on the carcass itself. So this is incredibly interesting behavior. And I don't think we will ever truly know exactly what's going on here. But I suppose all we can do is speculate at the moment. So as I say, I don't think they're mourning. I think there was a bit of curiosity, and then they can obviously smell that it's a big elephant, and then almost a bit of like, well, Let me see if I can get a bit of dominance here, get a bit of a one-up. But not in a serious way. I don't know. It's just really strange and interesting behavior to watch. Now, the elephant that showed the most interest initially was the one with the stumpy tail. And he's long gone. He moved off with the herd. And it's just these two again now. One that arrived with the stumpy tail who showed very little interest in the beginning. And then that young teenager who I've seen quite a lot of in the last couple of weeks since I've been back. And he's sort of joined in the party, so to speak. Now, a lot of people, and Pee-wee included, are asking, do you think they were trying to wake it up and that's why they were being rough? I don't. So, I mean, they're playing. You can see what I mean. So they're still playing, and they're not showing any signs of distress or anger or anything like that. So, no, I don't think they're being rough to try wake it up. Now, also, quite a few of you were wondering why nothing was done in terms of trying to dart the animal and see if it could have been helped and see if you could have fixed it. Unfortunately, with a wound like that, there's zero chance of recovery almost. You'd have to put an elephant in an ICU ward and keep it sedated. And also the type of drugs you need to keep an elephant down. Long-term use of M99 would also probably cause liver and heart failure in the elephant. But the fact that the stomach was completely ripped open, I mean, there was almost zero chance of survival for this poor Ellie after that happened. And again, it's one of those difficult ones. That the elephant population in South Africa is very healthy. It's actually growing, and it's growing to the point where it's actually becoming a problem. And the elephants are running out of space. Most of the reserves that can handle large elephant populations are chock-a-block with ellies. And this is a natural mortality, and in a healthy population like we have, one shouldn't be trying to fix natural mortalities. I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but that's the truth of it. And it's a natural mortality in a healthy ecosystem, in a wild population. Who are we to play gardeners in Eden and start fiddling? And this isn't an overpopulation problem. This isn't anything like that. This is just daily elephant lives. Well, there we go. That young bull's mounting again, but it sounds like Xidulu might have spotted a potential dinner.
I don't know if Xidulu has spotted a dinner so much as she's still trying to kind of watch us. She's now come and sat on a log right next to my door. She's literally, I would say, I don't know, a meter and a half from where I am. So there I am right there. You guys can see that she's literally right here. And I do not want to move too much because I'm worried if I move too much, she kind of attracts her attention. But she's, for some reason, infatuated with the sides of the car. She's also looking at all over the sides of the car, and I have no idea why. Girl, what are you doing? Are we making friends today? Are we bonding? Is that what we're doing? Is it time to bond so that next few sightings we don't have to worry about all of this nonsense? Doesn't seem like she's listening to me. Why are you not listening to me? You have to listen to me. No, I'm boring apparently. That's why she's not listening to me. But isn't this the most ridiculous sighting? I think it's amazing. It's probably been one of my highlight leopard sightings that I've had at Djuma. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. I know it looks as though it's been really scary, but I've at no point felt uncomfortable with her. She doesn't give me that uncomfortable feeling. She just gives me a feeling like she's interested in what we are, what we're doing. I wonder if maybe, just maybe, the scent of Jigga is something that she hasn't. She's just kind of curious of what this car is. You see, she's sniffing at us and looking at me. Hello, girl. Oh, sorry, are we confusing you? What's wrong? This is very cool. Look at that beautiful voice. I find she's got a beautiful tail as well, this female. She's got like a long, fluffy tail. It is very, very pretty. And it's kind of stretched out along the branch at the moment. beautiful big rosettes all over her, and she does look extremely good, doesn't she? She's in the prime, or starting to come into the prime of her life as a young female. She's about to become as pretty and as perfect as she could be for the course of her life. So she's got very few nicks, she's in great condition, very few ticks, funny enough, which is something that we've seen on a lot of the other leopards around here. A lot more ticks than this. Pea hearts? No, I don't think it's another leopard scat. I haven't seen any other leopards or seen any other leopard scat that we could have driven over, so I don't think it's that. I think if anything, it's just a situation where she's curious. She just wants to know what we are. Remember that most of her life she's spent with big game viewers, with rows of seats and guests on the back. She's very seldom has she spent much time other than in a tree with us like this, on a vehicle with a camera on the back and only 2 people. And so she's curious as to what's going on. Why are you looking at my leg like it's a steak? Don't look at my leg like it's a steak. No, that's not good. So she's kind of looking straight at me at the moment. It is really, she is an exceptionally pretty female, and her curiosity with us is something quite incredible. No, don't do that now. Yes, I can see you. Okay, enough now. She's just watching Craig a little bit as well, but you can see she's staring straight in our direction. For some reason she's intrigued by us, and I have no idea what it is. I've looked around the car, I've looked underneath the car. There's just nothing that I can see that could in any way. The only thing that I can think of is that the wind is blowing in her direction most of the time, and so maybe she can smell us, and that's why she's a bit kind of curious as to what we are. But fascinating, that's for sure. Thoroughly enjoying this. Now, I apologize about my shoulder every now and then. It's quite difficult to get out the way when she's as close as she is, and I'm hesitant to move just because she's kind of not at an aggressive way, and I don't want to make her spooked or anything like that, or I want her to try and get over this fascination that she's got in a way that she'll just kind of look and stare and smell, and once she's happy with it, she will start to walk. Rebecca, I told her earlier that I'm not a piece of meat and I have feelings too, and she can't eat me. I've explained this to her. She knows. Now, where are you off to? No. That's not on. You're not allowed to come jump near the car. So she almost looked like she wanted to climb onto the bonnet there, and so what we're doing is just driving back so that she doesn't do that, because as much as it's okay for her to be around the car, she's not allowed on the car. That's a no-no for any leopard, and we don't encourage any of that behavior, and I don't know if anybody has been allowing her to do that, and that's why maybe she's been doing this, but she's not allowed to go anywhere near a vehicle. She's not allowed to go jumping on it or anything like that. What are you doing? No, you can't keep coming closer. And she wants to scent mark right where we were parked. You can actually see my tire track right next to her. So let's see where she goes from here. Xidulu? No, girl. You're not allowed to be on the front of the car. Let's just see where she goes. I'm just watching her very, very carefully because, you know, if she jumps on the front of the car, it's a big problem. It's not something we want to promote. It's not something we want her to do. And so if she comes close like that, the best thing to do is just to reverse and let her go. So now she's kind of still watching. You behave yourself. So she's, sorry, Craig, she's right there behind, well, in front of the car. So I'm just watching her vicariously through Craig's lens at the moment. I think she's going to lose interest fairly shortly and move off, which is fine. Pretty incredible sighting though. It's amazing kind of way, and like I say, we're here to watch but not to interfere. And so I have a very strict rule with any cats, is that I don't ever allow cats to touch the car. So they can be curious and they can watch and they can look and they can sit close to us and they can lie in our shade. They can do all of these things, but they're not allowed to touch the car and they're not allowed to even put a nose near it. And so when they start coming up like that and coming very, very close, that's when we need to just pull back a little bit. And you can see now her curiosity is over and she's now moving off, so we can start carrying on following her and not have to worry about her jumping on the car. And that's the only reason we reserved. It's not a panic moment, it's not anything like that. It's just to teach her that we're not something that she must get any idea of jumping on. As much as we kind of view her, she has her personal space, we have our personal space, and we keep it separate. And that's the kind of lesson that we were just trying to go for there. But very, very, very cool nonetheless. Anyway, right, now I'm going to keep up with her and try and sort of see where she goes to and what she gets up to. And while I do that, let's send you back over to Brent, who's got that really interesting sighting of the early bulls still with that dead elephant.
You can see that these two bulls are still here, and they're sort of almost taking turns at the moment when it comes to climbing on top of that dead ellie. It's really, really fascinating behavior. I've never seen this before. I've seen bigger elephant bulls attack dead corpses and tusk them and stuff like that, but I haven't seen this sort of dominance display go on and on like the little boys are doing at the moment. And it's going to be, I wonder how long they're going to stay here. So I mean, we're going to sit here until the end of drive, and I'll definitely be back here first thing tomorrow morning. Slaney is asking if is it possible that the elephant who's dead was exuding pheromones during the fight, which are confusing the young ones now. I don't think so, no. And that was, the fight would have been yesterday, the first fight. I suppose another fight yesterday evening or early hours of this morning. I don't think so, no. I don't think that's possible. Now, as I say, there's a lot of different theories on what elephants do with corpses, mourning, etc. Now, I have seen young elephants play like this with a hippo corpse that was killed by lions, and pick up bones of buffalo, giraffe, and other elephants. So, I think it's more curiosity. That's my personal theory. As I said, quite a few will probably disagree with me, but I've been watching elephants in the wild my whole life, and if it was true mourning, I don't know how much of this other behavior that we see around these corpses would be going on. I mean, there's no sign of distress in them, there's no sign of anger, so they're just carrying on. It's sort of not a toy, but something interesting and a bit unusual that they're sort of having a bit of fun around. And the interesting fact, quickly across to Xidulu.
Now, we've just followed Xidulu, and she went running past a termite mound, funny enough, and she's just caught herself what looks like a button quail, and she's busy just chomping down on that, although it looks like maybe a young bird, isn't it? No, it is a button quail that she's managed to grab. So I know a lot of you have never seen button quails. Well, that's what they look like. Unfortunately, this is a rather mangled version of one because she's starting to eat it. But how insane is the light that we're getting on her as well? There's this kind of pinkish gold colored light, and she's tucking into this bird, and that's only going to be a mere morsel for a leopard of this size. There's not much meat on a little button quail, but she's opportunistic, and this is why leopards are so successful, is because they'll go after anything. They can go after little quails, they'll go after things as big as baby elephants, and you might even find one trying to scavenge off that big elephant bull that is on with Brent. And so amazing to see. She's putting on a serious show this afternoon. She's doing all kinds of crazy things and fast developing a reputation as one of my more favorite cats that we've got here. I've thoroughly enjoyed spending the afternoon with her. She's been very, very cool in many respects. And so I like the way that she goes about things. She's a very beautiful female. She's got the most amazing eyes, and, well, you know how I am. I have a soft spot for any leopard, but she's very cool. Like I say, I've had an epic afternoon with her, and you can see how she's trying to shake it to get the meat and not worry about all the wing feathers, because she's not going to get any nutrients from the wings itself. And so This is how she kind of eats them. Now, Trish, you want to know if this is the starter? Yes. So she's ordered her starter. This is her canapé before she decides to go and maybe lounge with some bubbles and a main course. So for now, she's got a situation where she's absolutely devoured that poor little bird, and that's the end of that. And so, well, I wonder how many button quails get eaten if you see how quickly she ate that, and off we go again. She's going to now carry on towards her sort of area that she wants to move to. And I'm pretty sure hunting session is not over. I'm pretty sure she is going to carry on with her hunting for the evening. Look how fast she walks. No wonder she can be quite tough to find. You can see she's not exactly going very, very slowly at all. That is crazy. Well, off we go. Let the adventure continue. And so, while we kind of carry on trying to follow her through here, let's head you back over towards Taylor, who's driving into this beautiful sunset.
That we are. I'm also trying to fix my mic pack at the moment. Haha. Fixed it. Now, what I thought we would do is start checking the boundaries to see if any of the hyenas, any of the cats are on the move, heading towards that carcass, because there are just vultures everywhere, and I'm sure that they would have seen those vultures coming down today and perhaps come around to investigate. I'm sure the hyenas are going to be the first ones there too. It's going to be, I think, quite exciting a little bit later tonight and probably tomorrow morning and for the days to come. So pretty cool, in fact. And then I was just listening on the radio now. I think Brent did give an update, but it seems as though a herd of buffalo have arrived at Jacana Dam in Buffelshoek, and that's where the Avoca males are. They're sitting on the dam wall watching the buffalo from a distance. So it wouldn't surprise me if they make an attempt on those buffalo a little bit late. We'll find out what the verdict is in the morning, if they did successfully take anything down. But so far we haven't had any luck just yet on picking up on anything. I'm almost going to use my spotlight. Almost. Not just yet, and I don't think it's warm enough to have a chameleon tonight either. So I don't think we'll be winning that way, but maybe some owls. I'm sure we'll get some night jars and a few other things moving around. Ooh. Seems as though Brent has put his infrared light on, waiting, like we are, in anticipation for something to come through to that carcass. Let's go see if there's anything there.
Well, we're playing the patience game, and their little boys are still around, but they have moved off a little bit to the left. There we go, you can just see them through there. Now, while these guys are around, it's going to be very unlikely that any of the predators are going to come through. I was really hoping by now we might have a leopard or a lion or a hyena somewhere around here. Now, those of you who joining in late might be wondering what happened here. The elephant was killed in a battle with another elephant bull. Now, Monty, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. And so Monty says, when elephants get wounded, do they get a kind of distemper? Now, distemper is a runny stomach. This elephant did have a runny stomach, but that's because his stomach was punctured by the tusk of that big musk bull. So, no, not distemper as a disease, but yes, he would have had a very runny stomach, and there was a lot of blood and clotting in that stomach. But that was due to the fact that that elephant's tusk went up under his elbow here and right into his cavity. And that elephant has got very big tusks. So it probably did some damage to some other internal organs as well. But and as I said, it also looked like that the Ellie bull came back for another round with him after we left him yesterday. So there was a few more sort of battle marks. Who knows, it could have even been a different elephant, but unlikely. It was probably that same musk bull. Now, what's been quite amazing is that we've had these young elephant bulls around the carcass, and a big breeding herd with little babies and whatnot passed within 50 meters of the carcass, and I'm sure they could smell the carcass, but they didn't come here. They just kept moving through. But I can only see one, and you see the other one as he marched off. He's moved off. So there's only one of the little boys left here now. It is also an amazing time of the evening. You can hear all the sounds very clearly. It's very still at this time of the day. Now, I don't think in any way is this elephant guarding the carcass. As I said, it's more of a curiosity to him, and I think he'll probably move off sometime in the next little while. Now, it's going to be very interesting over this carcass over the next few days. Are the Avoca males going to come back down from the north? Are the Birminghams going to come back from the south? The Birminghams were already in central Andalusia around the Sand River by this morning, so they covered incredible distance last night. So it is the problem about having such a large territory with those lions, that they have to sort of dash around trying to keep other males out. And one has to wonder if they've maybe got too much territory now. Well, Taylor is coming from Chitwa, which is over there across the hill. So she's trying to see if there are any predators on their way to where we are sitting.
We are. We've picked up on some male lion tracks now, but they're the ones from last night, from when the Birminghams were doing a bit of a patrol. I don't know where the Birminghams are. I don't actually know where they've been found. But the Birminghams tracks come down here basically to this area. I think we call it Safari Junction. It's basically a crossroad of roads where all the signs are. Like, you can see all the lodges now that are in this area. Shall we start at the top? It's very quiet. We have got cheetah plains. Dun dun dun. Oh, let's go across to Brent.
Okay, so our first scavenger has arrived, and that young Ellie bull has spotted him, and it looked like it was going to try chase him. Here he comes. He's just behind this tree. There we go. I think he's going to make a run at the hyena. I've lost sight of the hyena. No, it's still there. And there we go. So I knew it was a matter of time before the first of the scavengers arrived. Now, with the scavengers arriving, this might just mean this Ellie's going to move off. As I said, I don't think he's guarding the carcass. And they just don't like predators in general, elephants, whether it be lion, elephant, or wild dog. And the hyena are incredibly patient. So I think that hyena, I was hoping that elephant might give the hyena a bit more of a chase, a little bit of a trumpet and a charge, but unfortunately not. But I didn't even see the hyena, so it's dark, and I said we're in infrared, it's quite dark. But what I did is I just saw that elephant's body language change, and I knew there was something close by. Just getting my spotlight out so I can have a quick scan around. See if there's anything else sneaking up. There isn't, just that single hyena. It's probably going to take the long way around to get to that elephant carcass now. Here we go. What are you throwing sticks around, trying to intimidate the hyenas, but it's not going to work, I'm afraid. Kathy, or at the elephant carcass, I just saw movement behind it. Just have a look. I just can't see. I just saw something. Was it a drongo flying past? I just saw a little bit of movement. Almost looked like a tail swish or something. But that elephant skin is incredibly thick. Kathy's asking how hard is it for the predators to open it up. Well, lions and hyenas will manage. I mean, it is tough, especially as the skin gets older. But, I'm sorry, it'll get easier as the skin gets older and rotting starts to take place. But yes, they will be able to open it up without too much difficulty. Where you gone, hyena? Didn't take long after the sun set for the first, there we go, hyena to show up. Is that a hyena?
Just through the back there.
There it is, yeah. There's the hyena there. So it didn't take long for the first hyena to show itself after dark. And a single hyena like this approaching a carcass like this is always very cautious. Not only is the elephant there, but the fact is there could be lions, there could be lots of other things here. Let's have a quick look if there are any more around. So it's being very cautious. It's just hanging around in its little bush there, trying to make sure there's nothing more dangerous before it starts feeding on the carcass. So lions, leopards, hyenas are all known to scavenge quite frequently. And Pisces is wondering, will wild dogs appear on this carcass and scavenge? Wild dogs very seldom scavenge on a carcass. I've only seen it once in my life, so probably not. They probably won't scavenge. There we go, there, just behind the tree there. Getting closer and closer, now about 4 or 5 meters from the carcass. Now I don't want to move any closer. This hyena's quite nervous, and that Ellie is moving off. So there we go, going immediately towards the soft areas that the vultures managed to open up. And there you can see how truly big, even though he wasn't the biggest elephant. I mean, look at the size difference to that hyena. This elephant carcass is going to provide us with some incredible sightings over the next little while. We're going to go do a quick little short for a few seconds. Right. And hiding from
Now, we have unfortunately left Xidulu. She left us for dead. We were driving through very thick bush, and she unfortunately made a hasty escape, and we couldn't keep up with her. And so I have her, and what an epic afternoon it was. And, well, amazing to see. And I don't know why Brent has still got gremlins, but hopefully they will disappear around that carcass, and hopefully there will be none that attack us as well this evening. We're just slowly but surely heading home and going towards back towards the DRC, but apparently we've also got gremlin issues, so we're going to send you quickly back to Taylor before anything bad happens to us.
Oh, hello. That was a bit of a surprise. Hi, everybody. We're looking for snakes. That's what we're doing at the moment. We are driving around on the Snake Road, which is the Bellinites Road. Remember that one time we saw a worm slang here? Very, very cool. Sorry, I was completely taken off guard there. I was deep in thought about all sorts of wonderful things in the world and had no idea what just happened. So, I don't know what we're going to see. It's quite cold. I don't know if the bush babies are going to be out. I doubt we're going to see many chameleons and snakes. I don't know. We just actually drove past a tree and Seb and I had a good look scanning up and down, trying to see if we could find a snake wrapped around a branch. So yeah. Right. Anyways, I'm going to send you across to, well, I try and drive because I can't drive apparently. I have to do many things tonight. Whoops. Send you back to Brent, who seems to have found some signal.
There we go. The hyena has come back around, and we do apologize about disappearing there. It's come back around to where that opening was made by the other elephant with his tusk. So there is the hyena starting to feed, and I'm sure it won't be too long before there are more hyenas here. And by tomorrow morning we could easily expect 20 or 30 hyenas around, possibly some lions. Okay, we're going to do a quick little Facebook Live, so I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds. Welcome back to the Sabi Sands in South Africa. We're still sitting next to the dead elephant for those who were with us earlier, and now as the sun has set, our hyena has arrived. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have my good friend Dave on camera, and we've been here for about 4 hours now, and we've seen elephants come in, and now as it's got dark, the first of the predators and the scavengers has arrived, and it is busy feeding from exactly where the elephant that killed this elephant's tusk went into its body. So there's a nice easy opening for the hyena, making it a little bit easier for it to open up this carcass. As I said, I don't think it'll be too long before there are more hyenas here, but we will definitely be back early tomorrow morning to see what has transgressed overnight. You can see how tough that elephant's skin is. The hyena is very nervous because it's by itself, and it is possible that lions might pop up at any second. And the hyena is aware of our presence, Godwin. It knows we are here, but we're in our safari vehicle, so we don't pose a threat. Denise, you are 100% correct. Nothing goes to waste out in the African bushveld. And my prediction is in 5 days, there will just be some bones. And even those bones, and, well, there we go, Kyle. Answered your question for you there. About 5 or 6 days, my estimate is. And my estimate, not estimate, terrible English, estimate is. And it will be just a few bones, and even those bones, after there's no meat left on them, will provide calcium to rodents and even to animals like giraffe will sometimes also pick up bones and chew them when they feel like they need calcium. There we go. So I said by tomorrow morning there probably could easily be 20, 30 hyenas here. Maybe some lions if we're lucky. Now, this carcass is very fresh, but as it gets older, and the smell will start to permeate through the air, And Tam Tam's asking, how far will it travel? A good couple of kilometers, Tam Tam. But also, the predators will spot the vultures as they drop down into the trees around the carcass, and lions and hyenas will actually follow vultures to see if there's anything. Oh, he just popped the stomach. He just popped the stomach. Here we go. Oh, so this is not for sensitive viewers. Be warned. This hyena has just popped open the elephant's stomach that's been filling with gas throughout the day. So now the smell is well and truly out. And it's going to be very interesting to see what's here in the morning. Now, hyenas will often actually take pieces of meat away from a carcass like this and hide it in a puddle of water, so the other hyenas can't smell it and find it. They are very ingenious creatures. Oh, disappeared behind the ellie now. Now, as you can see, the tusks are still on the carcass. They will be collected by the park officials. And Jenny's asking, will they chew on the tusks? They won't. There's no food benefit. It's enamel-like teeth, so there's no nutritional benefit to the hyenas or to anything really. So no, they will not chew on the tusks. Where'd you go, hyena? Now, if you want to see what's happening with this elephant tomorrow, remember you can join us on YouTube by just typing in Safari Live. We are 100% live, so not only can you catch us on Facebook for these short little snippets and tidbits into the wonderful African world, but we do run 6 hours a day on YouTube. Just type Safari Live. I will be back here early tomorrow morning to see what has happened overnight. So from all of us out here in the African bush and the hyena who's back, getting one last snack, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Well, look at that. Patience is always the most important when you're sitting out in the African bush, whether you're with sleeping cats or waiting next to a dead elephant. If you put in the time, you will see incredible things such as we have this evening with the elephants and now the hyena. And of course, Tristan had that incredible Xidulu sighting and catching a button quail. Isn't that amazing? I've never heard of a leopard catching a button quail. And of course, Taylor with the old man of the Northern Sabi Sands, Tingana. So get ready to join us for an action-filled morning sunrise safari from beautiful South Africa. So from all of us at Safari Live, good night.